What's up, everybody? Let's go. Everything's up and running. Let's go. How's everybody doing? Feels like it's been a while. Lots of stuff been going on. Woo, buddy. Woo, buddy. Lots of stuff been going on. A lot of Alcanner's Almanac stuff that's been going on in the background. Patreon overhaul went through, and we're about to shoot. It's almost about to release volume 2 of the overhaul, which is like we've done for over a year now. What's up, Eric? Chimera's here. What's up? Chimera, what does 07 mean? I never understand that 07. I never understand it. Restar, what's up? GM Redditor, I recognize all these names. Sebastian, what's up? First time catching it live? Welcome, Sebastian. We're live, and you're here. Fry Minis. I think that they appreciate the flattery. I think that's how that works, right? Nisamu. What's up? And Mikey, what's up? It's a salute. Oh my God, I see the person's head. The 07 is a salute. Wow, I see that now. I see that. Bad Hombres, what's up? Alpha Chief, how's your day? What's up? My day's good, man. How's your day? I do look forward to these. It's been a crazy whirlwind, and I've been trying to chase after my tail is what it feels like, but things are working. So I wanted to come and do a little live stream. You know what I'm saying? So you're giving up on D&D and focusing on chess. True or false? $2 super chat from Prime Minis. Focusing on chess? What makes you say chess, bro? I don't know why you said chess. I feel like I'm out of the loop for you saying chess. I don't know. But what I do know is I have this handy dandy label maker. That's an inside joke between me and Prime Minis. No, I'm not quitting D&D and focusing on chess. My dad does play chess, and he's like a beast chess player. So, are you familiar with the Queen's Gambit? What? Oh, hey, Scatterbug. Hey, long time. Yeah. FG, I can't, that name's crazy. Welcome to your first live as well. Queen's Gambit. There you go. Nobody's compared to their, okay, sweet. So this is just simple D&D Q&A. You can ask any questions you want. Go ahead and hit it up with a hashtag question, and I'll see if my moderators are online to be able to grab questions and all that good stuff. Oh my God, the DM layers here. Am I getting raided? Am I getting punked? Am I getting timeout? That's an inside joke for Luke, even though it's technically what I do on the channel, so it's not anyway. We're doing a Q&A live stream. Last time I did a campaign breakdown, but I'm really good for the campaign. I'm like super set for the campaign, and that's a whole nother story in itself. So we're doing a Q&A, so you can hashtag question, ask your questions. My moderators will grab them, pick them up, and I'll answer your question. First questions come first, and if you want to skip to the front of the line, once there is a line, you can drop a super chat like Fry Minis did, asking the question about chess. I'll answer whatever question you want. So D&D is for losers, off of the DM layers comment. Today in class, yes, I know I'm a teacher and I should be focusing on teaching domain and range, but we finished talking about domain and range, and we played some D&D because I had 2 students who were like, what even is Dungeons and Dragons? And I was like, okay, do you want to play? And I literally hooked the entire classroom, and I had the whole classroom was gathered around. They were rolling for, that's a whole nother thing. If anybody wants to hear that story, give me a hashtag question on it, and I'll tell that story. But we basically did a Cinderella D&D, and they had to escape from the evil stepmother, so that was hilarious. But everyone had a different perspective about Dungeons and Dragons after that was said and done, so that was super fun. And they're going to pick it up again next class, but only if we finish all the stuff. Anyway, Justin Clark, what's up? Live. Hey, Blue Comet, welcome to DM's Lair. Heck yeah. It's the dungeon layer now. Ooh. Just going to bed. Have fun, dude. Have good night, man. I know you stay up super late, man, so this is an early night for you. You deserve it. Get some rest, bro. Okay. I don't think my moderators are here, so I'm just going to try and grab these questions. And there's only 35 people, so it's a nice intimate setting. I like it. It's all good. I don't care how many people are here. I don't care how many people are here. I just like to do these with you guys, get some chit chats going. So question from Chief Matt. About to wrap up a 3+ year campaign. What's the best way to show appreciation for my DM? Oh, so you're a player. I love this. I love the fact that you asked this question, Chief. Like, you're an awesome player. The fact that you even want to do that at all is awesome. You know what I'm saying? I think it's awesome. So what I would do now, I don't know. Now you're about to wrap up the campaign. So you got to kind of what I'm about to say. You could wait till after the campaign's over and you probably could get a better, thing of what I'm about to say. But I think it'd be super sick to bring this to a final session. This is the first thing that popped in my head. A piece of art. Like if you get a piece of art commissioned, you could easily go to Fiverr and they could commission, if you have a party of 4 or 5, you could commission 5 characters. You could get that done for like $50, $75. I know that might be a little expensive, so you could I'm sure you could find it cheaper than that. But you can get a solid group picture, character art, and all that kind of stuff for that. I think that'd be super awesome. And then have the Dungeon Master in there in some way, maybe in the background or some sort of little hint or nugget or something like that, or their favorite NPC or something. I think that'd be awesome. I have never had that happen, but I think that'd be awesome. Or if they say something out like, they want a certain dice box or something like that, you could of course do that, but that's more specific. So anyway, I'm looking for the next. If you have a question, do a hashtag question, because now we're starting to get them to come in, and I'm only gonna be able to grab up so many. Input on firearms in D&D Draconic Starblade. This week's episode is a ranged weapon video. So I'm doing a whole video this week, coming Sunday, on ranged weapons. And if you want to see a sneak peek of my firearm thing, watch how I handled crossbows. And so there's a whole video coming out for that. So I'm gonna hit you with that, and stay tuned. So there you go. What's up? Okay. Oh, okay. I see this. There wasn't a hashtag question, but I see this one, and it's a popular one. So I'm gonna tackle it. Shiro Yasha. Hello, since you do so much homebrewing for 5e, why not just play another system? I've been butting my head against many things in D&D, and I dislike sometimes, wonder why I even play this game. I get this comment a lot, or this question a lot, and honestly, I love the simplicity of it. I love the modularity of it, if that's the word I'm looking for. Its inner workings and its core advantage, +2, +5. How attacks work, everything, just the core base skills, the core basics of everything is very simple, and you can scale it up and add a bunch of homebrews to make it more gritty and grindy, more like 3.5 and Pathfinder 2e and all that kind of stuff. Or you can keep it simple and add homebrews that remove rules and just roll a d20, see what happens. And I do that. It's called a destiny roll. Cogent uses destiny rolls as well, so that's why it drew me to that system. Is roll a d20, see what happens. Like I do that a decent amount of time every session, and just kind of like, all right, let's see what happens, and just having that happen, and that's super simple. So I love 5th edition because it's simple to give homebrews to. And if I were to go to another system, I would probably have a ton of homebrews for that, if not more. So that's my answer to that. Okay, question. Pre-game interviews. What questions should I ask? Pre-game interviews. What questions should I ask? I don't know if this question is referenced towards asking players to see if you should or should not play with them, because that's a whole nother situation to tackle. But if you're talking about what type of questions you should ask your players before the game starts to get what you need as ammo as a dungeon master, I have a question, type dungeon coach backstory questions, and there'll be a video, and in that video is a PDF, and it has a full-blown answer question document in there of questions you could ask your players, questions that players could take and fill out like a survey for their own character to help flush it out. It's not mandatory. The questions are not mandatory, but goals, what's your goal and motivation, a personality, and a quirk. Those are my 3 things that I usually help players get, and then we run with it from there. So, heck yeah. Shiroshia, that's an awesome idea. I don't know if you were talking to me with that, but I'm gonna guess you are, so I appreciate that. I don't know if somebody else responded to you, because I am moderatorless right now, which is all good, because I'm just gonna keep answering the questions I got. So yeah, bear with me. We're working here. What else we got? Next question. Wait, pregame. Okay, there we go. FG has a question. Do you deal do you deal with history buffs and Emma folks being unhappy with the inaccuracy of weapons and armor? Oh, like historical medieval yeah, okay. Or do you have your own armory tables? So I have I do have a video. I'm only referencing videos because it expands on your question and much more in depth. Because if I have a video that's like 8 minutes of me talking about this one topic, you probably want to see that compared to just my question during a live stream while I'm answering multiple. So I don't want to seem like I'm just like, hey, you watch these videos. Tricked you. But I have a new weapon system and a new armor system. Both of those videos are some of the more recent videos, and it's an interesting homebrew for armor and my weapon system that I like to use. And as far as I'm not too worried about sticking extremely true to the accuracy of medieval weapons and stuff and all that kind of stuff. You got to pick the right level of realism or verisimilitude of how realistic you want this to be. Because if you do want it to be realistic and your entire group does, then yeah, add homebrews to it to dial up the complexity, because it's worth the complexity to the group. But in general, the people I play with probably don't care. They love to have a big, huge weapon, and they're going to use the huge weapon, and they love it, and it's cool, and it does cool stuff. And that's about as much as people care about in general. But if your group does, then yeah, definitely homebrew some more stuff for more grindy, crunchy verisimilitude for weapons and stuff. So, and the armor fit system might be one of the things you could do for that. So anyway, Blue Comet. How is playtesting for Alkenner's Almanac of All Things? Anything you realize needs major tweaking? Honestly, what's been so cool is there hasn't been need for a lot of overhauls right now. Currently, I'm in the middle of playtesting a lot of the mass combat systems. I have 3 different mass combat systems. So, of course, I'm an overachiever, and instead of just coming up with one mass combat system, I've come up with multiple. And I'm running it this week. This week with my party, I'm throwing them at, and they know that they're in the Dungeon Coach's homebrew campaign. So get ready for a bunch of stuff that I'm going to throw at you guys, and we're going to try out the hard way. So yeah, we're trying out a whole mass combat system there. I have lots of stuff that I've been kind of just throwing out, testing out whenever I can, and throwing some things around. So technically, though, October to December is when the big full blown playtesting is going to make sure to finish off and give some, get some feedback on whatever type of stuff to polish off before we lock it in. So heck yeah, but I'm excited. Fry Mini's question. Oh God, I haven't even read the question, but I'm like, should I read this question? I don't know. How do I stop my players from eating my dice? There it is. Get large enough dice that they can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way they're not going to swallow this. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to swallow this. Or buy edible dice. There you go. I'm answering questions here. This is like a hotline. I'm answering questions left and right. Blue Comet. That sounds amazing and awesome. Can't wait. I'm sure it'll be amazing. Appreciate it. Okay, sweet. I'm going to try and go a little faster because I'm falling behind on questions. So I'm going to go a little bit quicker. So hopefully y'all appreciate the hustle. But I'm going to try and hit some more people. Restar question. What's your take on alignment for creatures? Notice some monstrosities and undead evil alignments, even though they seem to incline to survive, not commit evil. Yeah, I literally don't put alignment on any creature that I make. Not one. NPCs that I make, not one. I don't think it's valuable. I don't think it's valuable. I think about different stuff that's going to get across that vibe. It's going to get across the things I need to role play that NPC. I don't need to know neutral good or something to be able to answer questions for what this character would do. I think about their personality. I think about, what their quirk is in some way. Oh, hey, we got a super chat. I'll answer that in a second. Let me turn off my sound so I don't hear that every time. Bye-bye. So I don't think about alignment at all, especially for creatures. What is this creature? Why is it here? Is it trying to protect something? I think about logistically tactical, useful things that are more tangible and less like secondary abstract of like, okay, it has this like spectrum of evil, good, and like these things. I don't think that that's too valuable. So I do not use alignment for creatures. Cool. Next. Oh, so we got a super chat. Let's go. The Cleric Corner. What's up, Cleric Corner? $5 super chat. Appreciate it. Coach, your thoughts on making new skills like law skill. Law. Skill you would use for organizations, ranks, government currency that would be covered by a history check. Interesting. Interesting. I have added new skills to the game and I have experimented around with this. So first of all, I'm going to talk about a law check. Organization, ranks, government, and currencies. See, so my thoughts on a law check is I don't know if I would think a law check is necessary, because if you're talking about organization, ranks, government, and currency, okay, well, what are you doing in that? Like, what would the check be? You know, like you would have to give me a, here's what the player's saying they do. And then I have that moment where I'm like, oh, what would I ask for that? Oh, that's when I would put a skill check in there. You know what I'm saying? That's when I'd be like, you know, that those are the type of moments where I'm like, I think a skill should interject in there and be a skill, right? So I don't, because if you're talking about organization, ranks of government, if you're talking about, you know, like organizing people and leading people, persuasion really fits nicely into there. So yeah. So that's my thoughts on law. So I haven't had a scenario where I think law would be a, ooh, yeah, let's do law, you know? I just think persuasion, deception, type of things, or just even just a general charisma check to be able to, you know, like, I think those are pretty applicable there. So interesting. But then you're saying to be covered by history check. So then maybe like, you know, the history of things and organizations and groups and stuff. So then I think at that point you could do a charisma history check. That might be an interesting way to do that. You know, so I don't know about law, but what I do have happen all the time that I've always felt like, this is just weird, is like some sort of speed check. Like I'm trying to do something before someone else. Go, you know, and in general, that's been in dexterity or initiative. You know, I just asked for a flat dexterity check, you know, but technically, and this is probably the coach in me, this is probably the athletics coach in me, speed is not completely dexterity, because in general, dexterity is like nimbleness, agility, and all that kind of stuff. It's not necessarily quickness, you know what I mean? So I had, at one point in one of my campaigns I ran, there was a quickness skill. Oh my goodness, a quickness skill. And it was just, it was quickness. And you could put it towards strength or dexterity, and you could choose to apply whichever one, and whichever one it was higher, then it would be that. But it was just a quickness skill. And if you had proficiency in quickness, you also added it to your initiative modifier. Okay, cool. So only one player took it because it makes sense for them to take it. And is that too strong and broken? Oh my God, and everybody would pick it. Okay, calm down. It fit for the character. It made sense for the character. And they define, one of their defining characteristics was speed. And I was like, well, speed is really a component of strength and speed. Like, you're literally, the formula for power, it involves both, you know, how strong are you and how quickly can you apply that strength, you know? So yeah, I don't want to get into a whole physics rant about speed, but I've wanted to have some sort of quickness check where and you can be proficient in it, because maybe your big, strong character wants to be fast, but you don't want to jack up your dexterity score. You're a strength-based character. And another thing to like give to dexterity and make them fast and stuff. So I think quickness in a strength, like a strength component for quickness, might be a cool way to handle that. I don't know. And maybe if we have speed be based off of strength, I don't know, maybe that's one more thing that we take away from dexterity, because dexterity is so strong and broken and stuff. But then dexterity saving throws is how can you avoid something. But then again, maybe that's not as much speed as it is nimbly avoiding it, like dodging it, you know? So I don't know. There's a lot of weird gray areas there, which is why ultimately I have removed that. I have removed that. I do not, in general, use quickness as another skill. So there you go. There's my little rant on that. Alignment rant sounds like a third. Okay, cool. All right. So Fry Minis with another super chat to become the new boss. Every super chat. Every dollar super chat deals 100 damage down here, and if you kill Fry Minis, y'all kill Fry Minis now. You become the boss. So Fry Minis is now the boss, and he wants to know what the best way is to cook a potato. And luckily, my wife chimed in, Sarah, and she says, "I don't know how to cook a potato." Yeah. So no, I don't cook anything. I put things in ovens, and I take them out of ovens, and I follow the directions on the box. That's about it for that. about it for that. So now that we're sufficiently behind on the questions, I'm going to try and see if I can get caught up. Alignment for creatures, cool. Question: I'm looking to give a fighter a bit more flair, other than extra attacks and maneuvers. Any ideas? Alpha Chief, 100%. My martial combat PDF is literally chock full, and I'm not kidding when I say it. There's probably 50 plus different abilities, passive abilities, active abilities where you know, so you have extra attack, you have 2 attack actions, you use one of your attack actions, make an attack, and if that attack lands, you can spend your other attack and cause some extra cool effect, and cause a strength saving throw and knock him back, cause a dexterity saving throw and knock him prone. You can cause all these extra stuff, which is kind of like maneuvers, but it takes away the maneuver die, and it lets players be able to tactically use different weapons, because different properties are matched up with different weapons. And if you want to give a fighter, have your fighter pick like 3 weapons that really speak to them as far as how they'd use them, and they could switch in combat and stuff, like pull out this, I pull out that, like that'd be super crazy. Lots of flair. You said flair, you want some flair. So yeah, that would be the thing. I have 2 videos on that, and the range videos coming out this week. So that's been super popular. I would check that out for sure. And weigh the dice. Weigh the dice. They'll learn their lesson from eating the dice. From Fry Mini's question. Kirby has a question: how do you usually handle insight checks when players are trying to use it like a lie detector check? Here's one thing. I have recently done this, and I love it. I've recently done this, and I love it to the point where I want to make a video on this so bad. I'm writing that down. Insight video. All right. Here's what I've done for insight checks. If somebody says, behind my Dungeon Master screen, I have a chart with all of my players' stats on it, right? In fact, I'm going to say PC stat. Make a little notes here. This is awesome. Here's what I've done. I take initiative checks can be so lame, and they see the number. Ooh, you know what? This is gonna be a rant. We're ranting on this one. Here we go. This deserves a rant. How do you handle initiative checks? Okay. This is a rant, by the way. These go up on the YouTube channel. So the questions that are just fire me up. So here we go. How do you handle initiative checks? Initiative. Boop. Take 2. Let me see. It's insight, right? I want to make sure I'm actually answering the same question. How do you deal with insight? Okay, cool. Initiative. I think I was getting caught up in the speed talk again. Okay. Take 2. What's a new and different way to handle insight checks? Instead of just having the player, we all know what we're talking about. You're talking to an NPC, the players are talking to one of your Dungeon Master NPCs, and it seems a little sketchy, and they want to know what that person is, and they just, insight check, and multiple people maybe ask for it, whatever. And then they roll a dice and they see the number in a very, very meta way. They see the number on the dice, and then you tell them what they feel and all that kind of stuff. So there's 2 things here. One is, if they roll stupid high, they are now a human lie detector, a magical human lie detector with no foulity, no questions left unturned. You tell them whatever, and they know they rolled over a 20 or whatever, so they're probably going to be fine, especially if they're rolling that 20 or whatever. Now, yes, there could be some sort of, and you roll behind the screen, and then it's a 26, and they roll a 25, so haha, you got them. But those are extremely rare cases. And in general, so many times insight checks are just you saying like, well, you guess you feel like you believe them. And then here's the other scenario. Let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum. They roll really low. They roll super low. And then now you have this like interesting, maybe funny moment where they're talking to an NPC. They think they might be lying. And then they roll really low. So now what do you do as a Dungeon Master? Well, you either tell them the opposite of the truth, right? And then now they kind of know that it's not that, because they rolled so low. They rolled a nat 1. So you think they're lying and stuff. Okay, well, now that's probably means that they're not lying. So then people can like backwards figure it out and stuff because you went the opposite way, and that feels bad. And then you have times where it's just a normal NPC and they're doing whatever they're doing, and you get these the middle of the road checks, and then what do those necessarily mean? So here's a new way that I have added in my game, and I've been running it for my campaign that just started. We're in session 7. I have a second channel that has all the stuff on that I give breakdowns every single session on. But one of the things that I have started implementing is secret insight checks. And I know this is like, oh no, but the players, they need to know, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I've ran this and I asked the players if they're cool with trying this out, because, you know, I like to do some homebrew stuff and try things out. I want to do this at my table because I haven't done it yet, but I've really loved how it feels, and I've loved what it's caused, because you'll see what I'm talking about. So when someone asks for an insight check, okay, cool. And everyone could ask for an insight check, but with this system that I have currently, they don't tend to do that too often. But okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting so excited because this system's so fun and it fixes so many things I didn't even think about when doing it. Here's how it works. They ask for an insight check, and I roll a d20 behind the screen. And I know that feels real bad. And I know that's like, I have a whole video on secret rolls that I'll put down in the description, where you could have the player roll a D10 or something, and that D10 matches up to a D10 list you have behind your screen, which is D20 rolls. You can do that. If you want to do a system where the player actually rolls something and it matches up to a different dice because you don't want to roll the dice as a dungeon master, you can totally do that. I have a video with 3 different methods that you can do that. But this is just more simple, and my players have loved it, and they don't have a problem with it, so I don't have a problem with it. They ask for an insight check. I roll for them. Okay, I understand. I have on the back of my Dungeon Master screen their insight scores, their modifiers for insight checks, and I add it to it, and I have that number. Only I have that number. So they're talking to this suspicious NPC, this NPC that they can't quite get a read on. They make an insight check. They don't know what that number is, but that player, let's say they are proficient at insight, they have high wisdom, they are designed to be a detective type character, and you want that player to feel like a detective type character, and you're like, well, they won't even know. How are they going to act on this and this? It's role play. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? So that player with a high insight score is most likely more likely to get a better result, a better read than not, but they still aren't perfect. They still can't be magically perfect lie detector and know the answer beyond a shadow of a doubt, because then that ruins the mystique and the mysteriousness of this NPC. So two different players make an insight check on this super suspicious person. I roll for this player behind the screen, and the highly insightful person actually rolled high. Okay, cool. Let's just hypothetically say that. And then the other person rolled really low. Neither of them know the answer. And then I start to describe what you feel and what you feel. Which one's right? Who do we trust? They actually can still role play this. They actually still are in control of their own role play. I have removed the meta monkey on their backs and let them truly role play what they're thinking. Do they trust the insightful player that probably is actually correct? And they think the insightful player that you actually figure the way they're moving, the way that they pause before they talk, and they think before they speak, and you're noticing this type of thing, and it's sitting wrong with you. You, on the other hand, they're making solid eye contact with you specifically, and you feel totally fine, right? Who's right? Who's wrong? I don't know. I know. They don't know, and they still can think, and they still have a mystery about it. If I want there to be a mystery about it, right? Sometimes I might have, if it's just for fun, or if it's just for whatever, or they're making funny insight checks, and I don't want to have it be a mystery, I'll have them roll insight like normal. Cool, it's funny, and we keep moving. But if they ask a question enough to be suspicious, I'll probably have it be a secret roll, whether or not it's bad or not, because you got to do both. Because if I only ask for secret insight checks for suspicious NPCs, then I've given it away anyway. So I think it's been really fun to see what happens and to see them think and then go back and forth. But is it right or not? I don't know if I can trust them, because I've had the other thing happen. I've had it to where they entered into a city and I had 3 different factions. Who do I trust? One faction was the truly trustworthy faction. The other 2 are trying to screw them over. And early on in the sessions, as they went, someone had a nat 20 on an insight check against the person that was trustworthy, and they completely trusted that person for forever. And a lot of the plotting and scheming that I did didn't land how I wanted it to, because they absolutely trusted this person now. And that just felt bad. So that's what kind of caused me to try this out. And ever since I've tried it out, I've loved it. And it's been really cool to see them talk about that. And then like they leave the NPC and then they have conversations about, what do you think? Like, I don't really know. And they can still ask for insight checks, but they're going to think about it more now instead of just like, oh, I want an insight check and everybody's rolling dice and stuff. Like the more people that ask now, the more confusing it might be because there's more numbers that people don't know. So I think it's really interesting, and it's also more genuine because if somebody's genuinely wondering, how do I feel about this person? I roll the dice and now I can say something funny that's not true. Like if they, what insight check, do I feel like they're trying, this person, they hate you. They really don't like you and they're out to get you. And you're like, oh shoot, is that true? Are they really out to get me? Or is this a joke because I rolled really low? Who knows? It's so fun. Try it out. Just try it out. Talk to your players about it. Again, I have a secret rolls video if you want to check that out, or you can just let roll for the players, but have that conversation. You can implement this at your table right now to just have that conversation. Be like, all right, guys, insight checks. Shoot, send them this video, and we can talk about. I'll talk about them for you. So if you like that type of stuff, check out all the stuff I got going on because you gotta stay creative, think outside the box. Peace. There's the rant. Oh, what are you talking about? Hold up. Restarts. When coach reads every question but yours. Hold up. Restar. I answered your question. You take on your alignments for creatures, notice monstrosities, evil alignments. I answered your question, bro. I'm sad now that you think I didn't answer your question. And D&D is the thing. Okay, cool. All right. I just double checking there. Oh my gosh. I'm so behind now. Rant. Okay. Yeah. So much rant. Low rolls mean you get no information, or alternatively, you get more convinced at your current suspicion. Found this works better. Yeah, a lot of times insight, I'm like, hey, you can't really read anything. I don't necessarily always go on the other end of the spectrum for sure. I could have thrown that in there too. Dracarino, same thing for stealth checks. I don't think stealth checks are as important in that way because I don't run stealth checks how you're probably asking based on your question. I don't run stealth check. The only time I ask for a stealth check is when you could get caught. I've never made sense to me when people are like, all right, we're going to go sneaking through this cave. All right, everybody, make a stealth check. So you have the general stealthiness of the, you know what I'm saying? Like that just doesn't, that unless there's some not immediate consequences, I would be like, all right, cool. So y'all are stealthing through. I hear you. Gotcha. And then they're stealthing through. Cool. And then once they get to a spot where I need something, everybody make a stealth check. And now it's like, oh, shoot. You know what I'm saying? Or they know that they're trying to sneak from point A to point B and they got to get across the courtyard and then see if anybody finds them. Yeah. So anyway, Dracarino has this $10 super chat. Appreciate you. Places to find random tables. Ooh. Depends on what random tables you're looking for. There's on our Discord, you can check the description of any video on Discord. We have a random roll table chat, which used to be one of my favorite chats in Discord. We got there. What is it called? Table Fables. Table Fables is a very, very good. It's on Amazon. They're not a sponsor of the channel. But I did a video on Table Fables, best D&D books, is on there, and at Table Fables, it was awesome. I used Table Fables so much whenever I was early dungeon mastering. They have 3 different ones now. They have a 1,000 magic items in one book, which was pretty sweet. They have a whole bunch of stuff. So this is just honestly, Table Fables was my best source for random roll tables, apart from the internet. And I have an app. I don't know if you have a Dracarino. I don't know if you're Android or iOS, but if you're Android, my God, I have an Android app, D&D app video. There's a thing on there that will blow your mind with all the tables on there. And you can download some sort of mod that you can download Android apps on your computer, but I'm not that tech savvy, so I don't know. But there's a whole bunch of little options for you. So boom. Fry Minis with a $2 super chat. Can I heal my health or do I take myself down? You take yourself down. Because yeah, healing. I don't like whenever the boss can heal themselves, because then you get people coming in here and they just keep healing themselves and then they can never die. So I like to kind of share the love. So you can kill yourself right now for $1 and you'd reset your health. If that matters. Okay. The answer is nothing happens. Oh, interesting. So nothing happens. I didn't know when you threw that out there. That's funny. That's funny. Okay, cool. Okay, so let me go back here and get some more questions. Joshua, I just saw your question before I scrolled up there. Hi from Brazil. What's up, Matthias? Who is Alcander from Alcander's Almanac, and is there a campaign slash story module around him? I'm planning on doing one. Yes. I have not I've tackled adventures yet. I have some plans in the works, and I think phase 5 of my plan is going to be an Alcander module where it's Alcander and his whole situation and what's going on and what he's doing and trying to, change the world. What? So Alcander is the purple dragonborn on the cover of Alcander's Almanac. He's a multi-class mess of a character that's trying to change the world, right? Homebrew the world. What is that? But yeah, some of that lore is a little bit of a mystery on purpose until some more things kind of unfold with that. So my face is so itchy. All right. Before I go back to before I go back to try and catch up with some questions here, what time is it? Oh my God, it's already 8:37. Crazy. We're already halfway through. Jacob Childs. How do you bring imagery to life when you're doing theater of the mind? Ooh, how do you bring imagery to life? So I love theater of the mind for fast-paced stuff that happens out of nowhere, for things that literally are like I don't care about the miniatures movements and all this stuff and running it super tight. And if it's not about health and tactics and stuff, if it's just about movement, quick creativity, go, I like to do theater of the mind, but theater of the mind is appropriate in lots of different places. So, theater of the mind, the biggest thing you have to do is I spend a little bit more time describing logistics. I think that's super important, describing logistics. So if I have a map in front of them, I don't do it as much. I think there's a beautiful hybrid of theater of the mind, whether you're digital or in person, or you can show them a generic map just so they visually have it on their minds. And even if you want to go one step farther than that and just say like you have little beads with color or little miniatures that you just have there, you don't do it by movement, you don't do it by 30 feet, you don't whatever, and you just describe things with that visual aid, I think you can dial things back. But if you do true theater of the mind, I just do more logistical descriptions to make sure everything's up to speed. And at the top of every round, I give a recap. And as everybody adds on to it, I give kind of a chained recap, not a full recap, but a chained recap. Here's what I mean. So the sorcerer wants to cast fireball. He casts fireball, and the big explosion happens in the center as the paladin runs in. Divine Smite attacks. His divine smite misses, but the ranger shot and hits. But you don't want to just chink and go through everyone, because now, like, where is everything? What's happening? Is there movement around? So I would say sorcerer casts fireball, huge explosion in the center. The kobold makes it save. I don't know what's happening. The kobold makes it save and moves out of the fire to attack the villager who's right there off to the right. Okay, and then the kobold attacks the villager, and he's just a little burned and charred. Paladin runs in to attack the kobold. Link it. This is what I mean by chain. After the explosion, the fire explosion, the kobold runs out of the flames and right into the paladin. And the paladin, divine smite, make your attack roll. Blah, 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 blah. And then I talk to the next player. You're up next. Ranger, you're up next. And then I describe what's happening there. And then Ranger says, I want to shoot the winged kobold up in the skies. The winged kobold, after the fireball explodes from the sorcerer, he flies up into the sky to kind of get higher and away from the blast radius. The paladin and the kobold are up and away. You fire your arrow high, hit it high above. You know what I'm saying? So this is kind of the little chained descriptions to keep track of where people are so that people are ready to go, because it really kills the flow of theater of the mind. People are like, okay, so where's the winged kobold? Okay, where's the other kobold? Is the townsperson in the thing or out of the thing? Am I within 30 feet or out of the, you know what I'm saying? So I also think it's important for theater of the mind to be a little bit more lax with distances. And usually I would use the phraseology of melee, near, far, or like close, near, far, melee, near, far, and really far. If there's another word for it that I usually use, like extreme or ranged or very far. I think I say very far. Yeah. Anyway, to describe different distances, which usually match up with 30 feet, 60 feet, 120 feet, right? And you have these little pockets. So anyway, there's my theater of the mind. Appreciate the super chat, bruh. And Jacob Childs is now the super boss. Let's go. My nose is so itchy. It's crazy. Anyway, all right, so cool. Let me try and go back. The second. Oh, it looks like I missed your question, but I answered the second after. Got you, Restar. Appreciate you. Kirby 802032 or 8232. Hey man, thanks for the insights with a $20 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. Insight. You're welcome for the insights checks. Insights full checks. And for the jokes. All right. I really do appreciate that, dude. I really do appreciate that. These are fun. I have so much to do for Alcanner's Almanac and the Patreon videos and the Patreon stuff and YouTube videos and all the other things in life. But this is always a really nice escape to just kind of like, all right, no, I'm going to hang out with you guys for an hour and we'll just chit chat. So that really does. I really do appreciate that. I really appreciate that. All right. So let's kind of go back, and I'm trying to get some questions because I have no moderators here, guys. So I'm flying solo. So I'm going to go back up to a certain spot where I don't see any questions. So I'm sorry if I miss it because I just, there's so many. How to be able to pick okay. Sebastian, I was unable to back out Kenner's Almanac due to lack of funds. Currently unemployed. Sorry to hear that, dude. And hey, freaking, this is a different world now. It's a different world out there. So lots of different opportunities to try and find a job that you never would have thought would be a job before in this day and age. So freaking good luck, dude, for real. How might I be able to pick up a copy in say 3 or 6 months? Well, in 3 or 6 months, okay. In 3 or 6 months, in 6 months, the PDF should be ready. Cross fingers on that. In 6 months, the PDF should be ready. So there'll be a whole thing on that. And I'm going to have the PDF broken up into different little chunks as well. So there's going to be different options for you for that. So the digital copy, done, premium, you're good to go. No worries there. But the physical copy, I am only doing a short limited run on, and that window closes in December. So there's only which is 3 months, I guess. So in 3 months, just at the end of December is when I'm shutting the doors on the hardcover book, and I'm not going to make any more hardcover books because it's not tactically, logistically smart for me to do that. I can't afford to right now. Until the future, maybe, when then we can reevaluate things. But yeah, so sweet. Okay. Ooh. David B. Davis, question. I feel like my rogue's abusing sneak attack. How can I challenge bonus action hide every round? Yeah, that's always felt strange, you know? Bonus action hide in the middle of nowhere. Like, I would just say, like, have a conversation with your rogue and be like, all right, look. It's a bit ridiculous right now how easy it is to do this, or it's whatever kind of conversation you need to have, and say that you want to challenge them more. Like, I feel like it's just too easy to give you this or that. And in general, you don't want to have to feel like you're like bribing them with like, I'll give you a cool bonus if you let me nerf you. No, you're the dungeon master. So like, you got to be able to throw it down and be like, this is a little bit too easy. And I would say, this is exactly what I would say if I was talking about. So I'm going to role play you talking to your rogue. But all right, dude. So it's like you are killing it right now with all these freaking sneak attacks, and it's insane. And you're doing so much to where like you're doing a lot of damage, which is awesome and cool. But I feel like it's a little too easy for you. It's honestly a little too easy. So I'm gonna tighten up how I'm running like the perception checks for you to be able to hide and stuff. If you can legitimately hide and get off a sneak attack, pull something off, sweet, cool, awesome. But if you're in the middle of nowhere, or if they literally see you, you duck behind something, you come back up, like, no, that's not gonna fly. That doesn't feel right? So I'm gonna make you work for a little bit more. I'm gonna make you work for it. And this is where now I'm probably not you anymore. I like to have bonus level up perks. I like to have something where like maybe if like I increase the requirements for how hard it is to get a sneak attack off, and maybe they get an extra die damage and they get 1 extra d6 on top of whatever, right? And is that going to break your game? No, probably not. I'd say it's probably going to feel better if you give them an extra d6 but increase the requirements of what they have to be able to do, right? So I don't know what kind of moves he's pulling off, Davis, B. Davis, on you, but if he says like, oh, bonus action hide, and then he sneak attacks or something, like if he's in the same spot and he bonus action hide, surprise, it's not surprise. It's not a surprise. You're in the same freaking spot. What are you talking about? They see you. You duck and you come back up. I was literally just watching Critical Role today, and Matt Mercer had the same conversation with Sam when he's like, I'm in the snow. I come up and I duck. You're right there. Like, I'm not surprised. You know, like, I'm in the middle of combat. I know you're right there, and you just attacked me a second ago, and then you just did the same thing, and now you're still there. I see you, you know? So that's what I would say to do, is have that conversation, but be a little bit more, just be straight up with what your expectations are moving forward with the new level of normal that you want to set. So boom, there you go. Using sneak attack. I think that's all the questions from up there. I had a problem with Nathan Rogalski question. I've had a problem with fall damage for years since my barbarian in the game went cliff diving without any equipment or consequences. Been wanting to tackle this for a while. Any thoughts? Yes. Super simple homebrew on this one, guys. I might have to make a video on fall damage. Oh, should I? Fall damage. Guys, we just unlocked another rant. I just saw that I also got another super chat, so I'll make sure I'm not going to forget that. But we unlocked another rant. We unlocked another fall damage rant. Here we go. Fall damage rant. Okay. Fall damage. Freaking fall damage, guys. I'm going to try and scratch my nose because I don't know what's going on. My nose is freaking itchy. I don't know. I have freaking allergies, though, so maybe that's why. All right. Fall damage. Oh, okay. Fall damage in Dungeons and Dragons is underwhelming a lot of times, and it breaks my immersion sometimes, and it doesn't punish enough a lot of times. Maybe early levels, whenever your level 1 player falls off of a 20-foot cliff. Oh no, 20 feet. That's 2d6. Oh no, 2d6 damage. You might be you get pretty messed up. All that kind of stuff, right? So, fall damage in general, especially once you get towards 5th level and definitely higher, fall damage should never be to the point where you can have a barbarian that just jumps off a cliff and is totally fine, or you're in a sky ship and they jump out and they're totally fine, and they take 20d6 damage, and then they're okay, cool. Oh, but I was raging and take half damage because I'm raging and I hit the ground. Like, no. You should respect fall damage. There should be things in the world that just you could die. You're not immortal. You're not gods and stuff, right? So even monk's slow fall should be, cautious in some way. So anyway, here's how I write. Super simple homebrew. I'm throwing the quick homebrew at you out the gate, and then I'm gonna have some little extra tweaks I'm gonna give you. In general, at my table, fall damage is a 1d10. That's it. Think about that for a second. 1d10 fall damage. Think about what that means and think about how that applies. And there's no cap to it, right? Now, I'm sure I could do some backwards math and figure out what terminal velocity is and all that kind of stuff. But I think, just in general, okay, unless you're specifically built a certain way or you have some sort of like magically slowing fall type thing, a level 20 fighter, or even let's say a level 20 barbarian, should be falling out of the sky and smash into the ground. I mean, you're probably dead. You're at least unconscious, and you're going to be making death saving throws. You know what I'm saying? But 1d10 for fall damage, I think, dials it up to a respectable level. Is it going to be more dangerous and deadly for normal people? Maybe. So maybe if you're worried and you want to add some extra homebrews, maybe you have fall damage scale with the campaign. That feels bad to me. I just have it be 1d10. Don't fall. You're a little weak, little baby with level 1s. Don't fall, right? I would not do that, but you could have it be a d6 at level 1, a d8 at level 2, and then level 3 and beyond is a d10. Or shoot, you can maybe turn it into d12. Oh, fall damage is scary. But I would have fall damage be a d10 for the simple reason that falling from big heights, that could really, really hurt you, especially if you're falling out of the sky, you're flying and you shit, and that could be really bad. And you should have some level and realism of fear in falling from great heights and not just be like, oh, it's fine. And then you can and players then aren't afraid and they become that immortal feeling and they can just jump out and just eat it. Speaking of barbarians, rage does not reduce fall damage. at least to me, it doesn't make sense. I feel like part of their rage is them being in battle and shrugging off damage because they're so in battle, in combat. Like we've talked about, and like a lot of people have talked about before, with health being a representation of your combat prowess and ability to protect yourself from damage. A barbarian rage, I think a lot of that is, yes, they're shrugging off blows, but they're shrugging off blows in combat fighting, right? And they take less damage, and they take less damage from fighting. If you are falling and you go into a rage and you hit the ground, I don't feel like you would just reduce the damage because you were angry. No, I don't. I'm sorry. You can go crazy in the comments about like, oh, but that's the barbarian. It's barbarian rage is overpowered. It's one of the most broken level 1 abilities, if not the most broken. You double your health effectively from most damage that you're going to be taking, especially at low levels. So fall damage in my world is not bludgeoning damage. It is fall damage, and you just take it like a champ because you fell and you ate it. Just the same as the fighter next to you, is the same as the wizard next to you, and all that kind of stuff. Another extra layer here to throw out there is adding some sort of injury table potentially for fall damage above certain heights. Over 100 feet, you're going to roll on an injury table. Oh, snap, right? Or maybe over 80 feet, whatever you're saying, a high enough height that you might roll for something bad, some sort of injury that's going to stay with you until you can get it healed, stay with you until you can go to an actual medical ward in a city, or some sort of high level magic spell is cast on you, which is, again, healing magic's different than broken bone. If you have a broken bone and you heal it, that's a whole nother side, a whole nother tangent there. But have a certain height set. For me, I'm just going to say 100 feet. And after 100 feet, if you fall and hit the ground 100 feet up, you're going to roll on the injury table. You're going to make a Constitution saving throw, and if you fail that, you're going to get an injury. You're going to roll on the injury table. I have a lingering injuries table. There's a whole nother video I could do on lingering injuries and how many tables I think are just bad and wrong and not good and stuff. I don't mean wrong. It just rubs me the wrong way, and I don't believe in that type of system. I think lingering injuries should be something that's like, ooh, like you broke your arm, so now every attack you do is a disadvantage and stuff, and until you can sling it, and then you use your offhand to whatever. Okay, so I think there should be some sort of precedence around falling that you make it a little bit more scary than characters just being able to, who cares, and they just eat it and fall from whatever heights. Super simple adjustment is 1d10. Don't let barbarians break the game even more with their rage falling, and then throw in extra little injury tables on something happens and they fall and they break their ankle. Literally, they break their ankle, or give them stacks of exhaustion, whatever you want to do, because fall damage, you gotta respect the fall damage. You can't just be letting people fall out of the sky, hit the ground, or stand up and they're fine. That's crazy. So stay creative. Think of peace. Guys, my nose is gonna fall. I'm gonna chop it off. My God. I want to see what y'all said about falling, and then I'll hit the super chat up, and then and then it's already almost 9. Rant on fall damage unlocked. Woo, we did it, guys. Another rant. Yeah, that's a double rant stream right there. For hiding my rogue, good sneak attack advice. I would suggest using flanking tactics to get sneak attack damage. Yeah, Caleb, that was another thing. That's a good point. It was one of the thoughts I had that popped into my head, but then I started talking about the bonus level up perks. So one thing is that you have to be flanking the target for sneak attack. I think that's a great adjustment, and that was one of the things that went. You're in my head, Caleb. You're in my head. Is if you do want to give them like, oh hey, cool, you get an extra D6 if you're actually flanking them, or make it to where they have to flank them. I don't know. That might be a challenging thing for it, but just have to have some sort of creative advantage, whether it be surprise, flanking, or something else, to be able to earn sneak attack, and have it be something they earn. So whenever they get it, they're excited for it, and they don't just expect that I always get sneak attack, right? So anyway, how many feet do you fall per turn or round of combat? Because you fall out of an airship 300 feet in the air. The other PCs in mid combat still can't get you that round. Oh yeah. So in general, I would say you'd fall. I've done 30 feet before, and I've done 60 feet before. I have not necessarily gone on record in either camp to say that, because a lot of the times I feel like it depends on the situation, like you can move 30 feet in a round, but you fall faster than that. So if you want to go full verisimilitude, run the numbers, I'd say 60. But I think something that's more fair, of how far you fall is 30 feet. So it still gives some people time for like a misty step, or still gives some people time to do something, you know what I mean? So yeah, I would say, because, you know, when does the fall happen during that 6 seconds, you know? So like 6-second window of combat, like, you fall down. Okay. But was it like fall and the turn's over, or did like something happen to you during the 6 seconds and then you fall and then you only fall like 30 feet? So my nice answer is 30 feet. My probably more realistic answer is 60 feet. And if you do some math, it's probably more than 60 feet. So anyway, fall damage, bludgeoning damage. Oh, there's the rant again. So cool. And then they run. Okay, cool. All right. So let me hit that super chat. Draconino. I'm going to say that correct. Draconino. Thank you again for the $10 super chat. Super awesome. All they said was keep giving the insights. More insights checks. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. So I'm gonna hit up. I'm gonna do a flyby. I'm gonna do a flyby on these questions and see if I can, how many questions I can answer. And I'm gonna do a shot clock. I'm gonna do a 3-minute shot clock because we have 3 minutes left. I'm gonna 3-minute shot clock. I'm gonna answer as many questions as I can. Again, disclaimer: I am 3 minutes. Can you see it? There we go. 3-minute shot clock. I'm gonna answer as many as I can. But disclaimer: I'm probably not gonna be able to fully flesh out each of these questions as much as I probably want to, even though I'm gonna try to fight that as I do it. So here we go. Where's the first question? Okay, Alchemy's Almanac. Okay, cool. Bad homes. I gotta find the question first. Jeez. Okay. Warlock. Okay. All right. Here we go. Bada bing. Boom. Question from Bad Holmes Productions. What are some interesting ways to allow a warlock or cleric to interact with their patron or deity? I love this because I have a warlock in my campaign. Through dreams is one of the things that I was doing through dreams. Whenever they go to sleep, they get visions in their dreams, and they have to try and act in their dreams and control their dreams and try to figure out their own dreams. And they have some weird stuff happen. What do you do? And then either they wake up or not, and they can kind of interact and play with their patron in these weird amorphous ways. But a lot of times the players, that might be a little bit too vague. So you can have different weird things happen to them during combats or out and about through animals. Right now, the warlock I have is I'm communicating to them through animals. So I have like lizards and geckos and weird stuff. Jump on them, their eyes go green, and then they say stuff. Say, follow me, follow. And it's almost like Yoda a little bit, how I talk about with them, in these like little bit cryptic little blurbs, or you can do some big bold ways about like they say one word things to them in some big grand way that only they see, or give them some sort of clues and hints of how to reach out to them. One time, because of this thing I've established with my warlock player, he like swam down into the water, cast water breathing on himself, and meditated underwater to like fully immerse himself in it. That was a really cool way to reach out to the patron. The patron came out and talked to him and reached out to him. It was awesome. All right, cool. I probably would spend a little bit too much time on that, but it spoke to me because I have it going on right now. I'm Quackers. Question: when should I consider a hex map over a grid map for combat encounters? In general, I don't. A lot of times I'll just draw my maps and I just draw them. You don't, I used to draw like within the lines and stuff and like really make sure that I draw like, you know, and like, where am I just draw it now. And then like the squares are fine. And you see how many squares it takes. And it's almost led to more dynamic moments where like the threshold of a doorway is between two spaces. And now like someone's standing literally in the doorway because it's not split in a perfect, like you can't stand in the doorway because that's where the door is where that line is. You know what I'm talking about? So I've never had the urge to draw hexagon maps, but I would just say relax your strictness on drawing within the lines whenever you're drawing maps on a normal grid. So questions, hashtag questions. Where's my hashtag questions? I'm looking at, where's I think, what did y'all stop at? Okay, there we go. Would you allow a player to shift levels to another class if they no longer like that class? Yes, if they could come up with a good reason why. I would totally let them retcon a class or do something if there was something they role played to earn it for. If they're just like, I don't like this class, I'm like, all right, well, let's tell a story. Let's tell a story about how you switch. In fact, another example from a campaign that's happening right now is one of my players is a warlock and their spells aren't going good for them. They're like, I don't know, man, that like they've rolled real bad last session. So I stopped talking. They rolled real bad last session. Like, maybe I should multi-class into Ranger or whatever. And I was like, yeah, maybe. And they're like, oh, but then I'll be behind on spells. No. Stop. Time out right there. Don't let your players be worried about logistics and mechanics and all that stuff sabotaging role play of what their character would do. If they want to go do something and play around with something, let them go play around with it. Work on some stuff on the back end. And whenever they do, like they want to go explore Ranger, and then whenever they do, and then they want to say, oh, their patron comes back to them and they reunite and they reinvigorate their powers or whatever, and you give them all those things, right? And now they have all the stuff back, and maybe you dial back some of the stuff they had before, and now they can do this now and not that. Or let them be able to do that. You know, that's what the whole bonus level up perk thing is for. I have plenty of videos on bonus level up perks for if anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about there. It's my favorite homebrew system. It's my players' favorite homebrew system for these exact situations. Whenever players are like, man, I don't know what I like, or I don't feel like it's this is that. And that's the wiggle room that you have there. So yeah, that's what I would do, as long as they could tell a story and make it be believable as to why, and go on that journey and be patient enough to tell the story. And then we can swap out some stuff. Cool. Love it. Boom. That's it. We got another super chat. Hold up. Coulter Wilson. Whoa, thank you, Coulter. Hey, Coach, how are you? Question: since you focus on homebrew, have you thought about making videos where you rate other people's homebrew creations? Is it okay to send you homebrew? How would we do it? So, in general, I can't take on homebrews. I literally can't take on homebrews. The only time that I've done that is in Al Kander's Almanac, and there was a $290 pledge to submit a homebrew, 1-page homebrew, submit a homebrew. And that's literally, and I'm not saying that I'm worth that much, but I have such little time. That's what I had to do, because I literally couldn't. There is no way that I could make YouTube videos, Patreon PDFs, write a book for Al Kander's Almanac, full-time teacher, husband, and dad. There's just no way I could do anything, and just sanity in general. So I can't do homebrew reviews anymore. I've had to literally just shut it down, right? Because I'm just putting everything into Al Kander's Almanac. And hopefully by the time Al Kander's Almanac finishes, I'm able to go full time, and then lots of time opens up to where I can do things more efficiently. And I've written a book before, so now when I do another one, I already know what's going on, so it's gonna be more efficient. I can bring more people onto the team because I'm going full time, and I can be, it snowballs. So I do want to be able to have some sort of homebrew review type system that I have me and my team hands-on do stuff with. So, but in general right now, none of that is set up. I'm not that big and bad yet, but I say yet on purpose. So yeah, there's that homebrew deal. And rate other people's homebrew creations. I hesitate to do something like that because I don't want it to look like it's negative. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be like I'm super real with stuff. And if you gave me something, I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm going to tell you, I don't think this is good. And I'm going to tell you why. I think it might be good at your table, but I'm going to tell you why I don't like it, because again, it's all of our opinions. In every single one of my videos that I have, my best example is my counterspell video. I list off multiple different ways to handle it because every table is different. That's the whole purpose of Al Kander's Almanac. Every table is different, and that's why I'm creating Al Kander's Almanac in the way that I am, with multiple variation options. I wrote, my God, this is my nose. I just want to chop it off. I want to chop it off. That's it. I want to chop off my nose. Was that got gruesome real quick? Was that crazy? Anyway, I wrote about today, knocked out about 5 pages of Al Kander's Almanac, and the whole time I'm writing these things out, I have entire sections where I stop and be like, you could do this, 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 and I list off a bunch of different ways that you can change it and interact with it, because everybody's table is different. Everybody wants different stuff. Specifically, today I was talking about long rests, short rests, and full rests. What's a full rest? I have a video on that. But I like to give options because everybody plays the game differently, and you might want a different level of strictness or grittiness or freeness or whatever. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. That's it. I wish I could have got to all the questions, but we past 9 o'clock now. I appreciate all you guys. Go see a doctor about your nose. I know. It's just itchy. I shaved right before this, and so maybe it's that. I don't know, but it's freaking itchy. Maybe the lights, allergies. Who knows? Who knows? He does have high charisma, but Fey ancestry is questionable. Whoa. I love the Feywild. Let's go. Good night, DC. Peace, guys. Peace, peace, peace. I'm gonna cut my nose off for the final version of the final clip of the stream. We're gonna. Oh wait, is that the button now? I almost pressed the wrong button. Stay creative. Think outside the box. 07 salute. Love you guys. Love you, Josh. Oh, appreciate you, Josh. Appreciate you. Possibly dust on the light source. Oh, maybe. Maybe. Appreciate you guys. I'm gonna go see a doctor about my nose. Stay creative. Think outside the box. Peace. It's like the two.